On the paper talk today, we're going to be talking about Erik ten Hag. You might have heard of him. He's a bald bloke, usually found in there now, actually talking to the press and shaking hands and all that carry on. We're also going to be talking about his transfer targets. There could be something happening with a defender from Spain. So why don't you watch it to find out who? Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford as usual, and it's breezing. My coat's over there on the floor. I've got my parka, so don't think you don't need a parka today because it has been raining. Anyway, we'll get straight into it. Loads of stories to get through. Obviously, Erik ten Hag is now officially Manchester United manager. He was doing the rounds yesterday in that building there, greeting the press, meeting the staff. Gaz Drinkwater bumps into him outside Old Trafford as well. You saw those pictures, and it was, a sort of pretty solid first day, if you can call it that. He said the right things, I felt, talking about, the likes of City and Liverpool's dominance can come to an end and eras come to an end, talking about his plans for the future and how, he was going to sort of speak to the players and all this other stuff. It was very sort of what you'd expect, and I thought he gave a very good first impression. I've been here for other press conferences where managers have been unveiled. I was here for David Moyes, for example, and he looked like a rabbit in headlights. You certainly didn't get that sort of impression from Erik ten Hag. Joe Smith did a reaction after the press conference that he gave, so if you want to go and check that out, that's up on the channel, so you can see the sort of reaction and the quotes from yesterday's interview with I think he did an interview with Pete Meulenstein, and also his press conference as well. You can see reaction from that from Joe. Anyway, we'll get into it, and it looks like Erik ten Hag's already making his first transfer demand, and it's Pau Torres, a player we know obviously from Villarreal. And it says, I think the Express have got it and a couple of other newspapers. This has come from a local newspaper in Spain, Deportes de Periódico Mediterráneo. That might be the greatest newspaper in Spain. It might be the least reliable. I'm not going to pretend that I know. But anyway, they're saying that Pau Torres' agents will travel to United this week, or to Manchester this week, to negotiate Manchester United transfer. And it says United are looking to sign another centre-back to bolster Erik ten Hag's options in defence. Goes on to say there's a little bit more on it, and it just sort of says United are among those keen, and it's also claimed that the defenders' agents Tarraga and Torres would be willing to travel to Manchester as early as this week to negotiate a contract. So it looks like there could be something happening there with that one. There was sort of other stories doing the rounds that ten Hag had looked at earmarked Pau Torres as a player that he wants, as a defender that he wants. It had gone a little bit quiet on the Torres front a few sort of months ago, and even a year ago we were heavily linked with him. Then it died down a bit, and now it seems to be back on. So one to keep an eye out. We'll see whether there is any sort of fire to that smoke, and keep you posted as always. Another story doing the rounds of around transfers is Darwin Núñez. Now this seemed dead in the water, didn't it, a couple of weeks ago? It seemed that, last week I think it was, Darwin Núñez sort of indicated that he didn't want to come to Manchester United. It looked like that wasn't going to happen. But now the bookies have slashed the odds a little bit, and it's like 9-4 on him coming to United, that makes us favourites. This is according to the MEN, saying that Newcastle are 7-1, PSG 7-1, and Atletico, Liverpool, Real Madrid all 8-1, with Bayern Munich at 10s. So there's still something there, it would seem. And there's also a story here that's come from, it's in the evening news, but it's come from Gimme Sport. And it says Erik ten Hag has prompted United into making contact with Darwin Núñez. Núñez, of course, has been prolific this season. 34 goals in 41 appearances. He's only 22. He would be a great signing for Manchester United. Whether we can get him is another story. Looks like there could still be something there, but like all these transfer rumours at the minute, we'll just have to keep posted and keep you updated. Obviously, Erik ten Hag has only officially been in the job for 24 hours, if that. So it's too soon to tell exactly how concrete some of these stories are, but they're worth sort of keeping tabs on, and that's what we'll do. Another story doing the rounds. This is from last night. You saw Avram Glazer was sort of doorstepped by, he was stopped by, I think it was Sky, as he was going into an event of some sort. He was asked about money for transfers, and he said, we've always spent the money necessary to buy new players. He's obviously talking rubbish there. They haven't always spent the money necessary to buy new players, and let's not forget it's our money, not theirs. But we'll have to wait and see how much money Erik ten Hag does have for his transfer budget. There was talk, wasn't there, about 100 million, maybe 120. Maybe he can bump that up if he sells a few players. We spoke about it last night on the podcast about which players could be coming and going. So it could be sold, or which players could stay. So have a look at that. That's up on the channel as well. We haven't got a lot of players you can get money for, and a lot of our players who are going to go on a free, aren't they? The likes of Lingard, Pogba, Matic, Mata, I think think it's going to rain, actually. I might have to get my coat back on in a minute. Shouldn't have took it off, should have? That was a bit of a schoolboy error. Oh, don't worry. Producer Callum is on the case there. Look at him. What a trooper, eh? Got Parker's at the ready, eh? Avengers Assemble and all that. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see just how many, or how much of a transfer, of how many transfer funds Erik Ten Hag can raise by selling players. We don't have a lot of players you're going to get a lot of money for that would be likely to leave. Maybe the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Anthony Martial, possibly Donny van de Beek, although I doubt it, because obviously he's got that Erik Ten Hag connection, so I think he may get a bit of a chance. But check that video out and you can make your own minds up on who you think we might be selling. Maybe Dean Henderson, I don't know. There's a couple there. You might think, oh well, if Erik Ten Hag sells them, we don't need him, then we can bring in a few more quid to buy the players that we do need. Another story doing the rounds a little was about Adnan Januzaj. He's been released from Real Sociedad. I just thought I'd flag it up because I remember Januzaj when he burst onto the scene here. Obviously got that brace at Sunderland under David Moyes. Everyone was raving about him. I remember chanting his name quite a lot. It's not really worked out. I think he's only about 27. He's still young, relatively young. I think so anyway, double check that. Not had the greatest time at Real Sociedad, and obviously he's been released now. So it's a bit of a shame because it was promising so much his career. Now it just seems like it's petering out a little bit. So just on the Pau Torres front as well, just want to mention something else. There's a story doing the rounds in the Mirror, and this is saying that Erik Ten Hag launched his transfer bid at all costs after finding dream centre-back. And it's saying that, you know, this is the transfer that he wants no matter what, and it's looking like we could get Pau Torres for around 45 million quid, which would seem within Manchester United's budget as well. So there may be something in that. It's worth sort of keeping an eye on, because there's a couple of reports now saying that this is the one he really wants. We know we should be in the market for a centre-back. We know we've got Varane, we've got Maguire, we've got Eric Bailly, looks like he could be on his way out, Vince Lindelof, but there are issues there defensively, aren't there? And maybe Pau Torres is the one that could fix them. Anyway, I'll leave it there. There's going to be loads more content coming up on the channel. We're going to have a reaction to Erik Ten Hag's appointment from a host of Manchester United legends. And I'm not kidding there. I'm not overcooking that one or lying. We have got interviews with a load of United legends, so we're going to be giving their reaction to Erik Ten Hag being appointed Manchester United manager. So make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're checking out Joe Smith's reactions to the Erik Ten Hag press conference. Make sure you're checking out the Paddock podcast where we talk about which player's going to be going and which player's going to be staying. Make sure you're checking everything out. Just subscribe to the channel. It's easy, isn't it? I've been Jay. This has been the Paper Talk outside Old Trafford, where can't make its mind up, as my grandma used to say. Thanks for watching.